Hey guys, I'm back today with a 10 cards 1 kit with the March 2019 Love from Lizi card kit. The kit is sold out, but I will list some of the add-ons and all that stuff. Lizi's website if you're interested in checking it out and getting notified of her future kits. So to start off with card 1, here I am taking 2 square dies, and I've done this before, but if you are new here or have not seen me do this, I take 2 square dies that are about this size, and my goal is to create a border die. So I know you can get dies that cut out paper that create this border, but I don't have those, and this just works just fine. It also allows you to save the middle piece of paper if you are using some really pretty paper and you're just going to cover it up with another layer. And that was my goal here. This paper has a nice little gloss to it, so I wanted to save that middle piece for maybe another card, since that whole middle piece was going to be covered anyway, no point in wasting it. So you'll kind of get what I'm talking about with the border die when I come back. I slowed it down in the beginning, but here it is all cut out. That middle piece can be put aside. I do this a lot with glitter paper if I wanted to use some glitter paper as a border piece. And of course, I don't want to waste any of that. And here is your kind of border die, for lack of a better term. And I'm just going to attach that to my card base. And then I've already die cut out another piece of the pattern paper that came in the kit and used that as my centerpiece. Here is a decoupage sheet. I'm only going to show you this one being put together. So there are different layers. I'm not going to use all the layers. You don't have to. But these are the pieces I've used and punched out, and I am just adding some dimensionals to all of them, except for that one on the left. That's kind of my foundation piece. And then I will remove all of the adhesive backs and then add my layers. I've always enjoyed when Lizi includes these in her kit. There were 8 sheets, and I seriously wanted to make 8 cards using them, but I tried to limit it because you guys know how to put those together, and they're pretty simple. So I attached my sentiment, which came on that decoupage sheet, and then all the pieces, and that is it. Here is another sheet I'm going to use, and I've already put it together on the right, as you can see. It's a great, if you've never worked with it, I highly recommend grabbing a kit in the future where Lizi includes it, because they are so much fun to put together. It creates such fun dimension for your card. I also think things like this would make wonderful gift tags. I think that's pretty cool. So here is a little piece, well, I don't say piece, but a little embellishment that came in the kit, the little wand. I used the back side. It has like a texture to it, and I actually like that other side, that side better than the smooth side, which I think is the correct side, but it doesn't matter. So for this card, I messed up big time on this card, but we just went with it. I had 10 cards to make. It took me several days to make these cards, and I was just going to go with my mistakes. So here I am wanting to heat emboss. So I'm taking a piece of watercolor paper and my embossing bag to get rid of any oils, static, whatever. And I'm taking Versamark Onyx Black ink, or Versafine, I'm sorry. Versafine Onyx Black ink. And my goal was to heat emboss with clear embossing powder. So I stamped my image using a stamp positioning tool, since the stamp is quite large. And I am just adding embossing powder, thinking it's clear embossing powder. Then I dry it and realize, oh, I used white embossing powder. So stamping it in black was completely pointless. And I'm not a fan of watercoloring with white embossing powder. I would rather do black because obviously you can see the lines better. But again, I was like, whatever, my hands were hurting and I just wanted to get this card done and be done for the day. So I am taking some Arteza watercolor paints and sloppily, I know that's not a word, but very sloppy adding color. And I mean, the end result is fine. Would I typically do this if I was, you know, really sitting down and trying to make a nice watercolor card? No. But again, I kept it in here. It gives you an idea. I'd already messed up, so, you know, I always say if you mess up on a card, keep going because the end result might work in your favor. And this card was fine, but, you know, not necessarily one that would be my favorite. So I add, as always, I add fun foam to the whole back of my panel because if the watercolor paper has warped, that fun foam will get it nice and straight again. And I use double-sided tape, attach it, and then I use my glitter cardstock, which was an add-on, beautiful glitter cardstock, and I cut out the fairy, and then I add the sentiment. And that sentiment came from a decoupage piece. That's what I used mostly. Even if I didn't use the decoupage sheet, I did pull the sentiment from some of the sheets. And I go ahead and add some sequins. And overall, it's okay. The card's fine. But anyway, enough about that. So I added quite a bit of sequins as if the fairy was kind of shooting them from her wand. I don't know, what do fairies do with their wands? So moving on to card 4, I have some of these paper flowers that were another add-on as well. And I haven't checked. I don't know what add-ons are still available, but I will check when I link them below. And I used a scallop die to cut out that rectangle piece. And then here I'm just adding some flowers. I really like this card. To the left at the top, you see 3 fairies. Again, that is from a decoupage sheet. And I go ahead and add the flowers, and then I'll add the fairies and the sentiment. And then I will, those pearls right there, the pink and white, I will add to the center of the flowers. I really like the paper flowers. They coordinated, obviously it's part of the same collection, but they coordinated really well with the pattern paper. Some of the flowers even had the same print as the pattern paper. Once I add those pearls, I do add this button. It also coordinates really well with the kit. And I just use a couple glue dots and adhere the button right there. And that completes that card. For card 5, if you watch the unboxing, which it'll be linked below as well, if you're interested in seeing what kind of things come in Lizi's kits, Lizi sent a ton of embossing powder, beautiful, beautiful embossing powder. And I was, you know, halfway done and I'm like, you know, I need to use this embossing powder. So there was a fairy stamp in the kit, and I went ahead and colored her off screen. I actually colored a couple off screen and fussy cut them out. And here I'm adding some of the dandelion seeds, I guess, and heat embossing that with the purple embossing powder. And then I go ahead and attach this to my card base. And then I will pop up that fairy. And again, I was trying to do it in a way where like the dandelion pieces were being dispersed by the fairy's wand. I don't know. Go and attach her. Oh, she doesn't even have a wand. She's holding a butterfly, but whatever. Anyway, so I pop her up with dimensions from my stash and go ahead and add some sparkle to her. All the fairies need all the sparkle. And to color her, I just used Copics, a blue, a purple, a yellow. Nothing fancy. And then her skin color. And then I'm like, you know what? I have this stencil. And I need to use the stencil to give you guys an idea or two. So this was an afterthought. I obviously would have done this before attaching the fairy, but thankfully I did get it to fit. And I'm going to use the love, and I'm just using, I don't know what color this is, and using a small blender brush to blend out the word love. And then from the stamp set, I will stamp out sending, cut that out, pop it up, and attach it above the sentiment love where it says sending love. I was pretty pleased with how the stencil came out. Honestly, I wasn't sure how I would like it. That color is Wilted Violet. Anyway, but once I added the sending, I'm like, okay, it doesn't look too bad. And that completes that card. So for the next card, I took my time actually coloring this piece. I did just stamp it out in Memento, Tuxedo Black ink, and I'm just using a couple Copic markers. I'm coloring in the green pieces here. And then I will color in some yellow. For the flowers. While I'm coloring this, I will let you in on a couple things. First, if you're not familiar with Lizi's shop, it's really only run by two people, Lizi and Sue. Sue has had a back injury, so wishing her all the best. However, that means that Lizi is kind of a one-woman show. I know she does have some help. Another lady has come in to kind of pick up the slack, but things are running a little bit slower. So if you have placed an order or sent an email, please be patient. I would highly suggest if you've sent an email, do not send another email because that just kind of adds to the workload and things can get confused easily. But please know that Lizi and her help are working as hard as they can. In other news, if you like my Spellbinders 10 cards, 1 kit, I did skip this month's Spellbinders. One, because my hands issue and trying to lighten my workload. And two, I really didn't care for the kit. So I decided to go and skip it and not spend the $35. But we'll check out next month and see if it is one I like. But if you are waiting for that video, it is not coming. So I just wanted to mention that. I go ahead and trim out this panel, and I am trying to color, a background with the blue. I wasn't liking the way the top was coming. I didn't like the marker lines you could see. So I'm actually bringing in a Distress Oxide ink, and I just go ahead and ink blend that top portion out, and it looks perfect. I go ahead and attach it to my gray card base. I really like this card. I like the amount of gray you can see. Usually I don't cut a piece of cardstock that small, but I really like the gray poking out. And then I go ahead and add my sentiment and the fairy. That's the other one I colored. I did her in pink. And add, of course, some glitter. And then I do add some sequins for some extra sparkle. And then that will complete that card. So moving on to card 7. I really wanted to the left, you see those like bubble stickers. I really wanted to use them, but I just never, I couldn't think of anything to use them in my card creation. So if you're part of the Love from Lizi Facebook group and you use those, please post your picture. I would love to see what people have done with them. They're really cute little shaker stickers, bubble stickers. So here I've just taken various pieces of pattern paper, cut them with the fishtail banner at the end. I did use some more of that glitter paper, this time like in a rose gold. So pretty. Cut out the fairy, attached her, and then I do attach this bow. The kit came with a great selection of ribbon. And I had tied this bow earlier and went ahead and used it for this card. I do add some of the Nuvo drops. And I decide to not add a sentiment. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to let it be. Not every card has to have a sentiment. It's kind of nice, honestly, to just, if you need a card, pull from one and, write whatever message you need. And again, this was an afterthought, not something I would do at this stage of the card making process. But I wanted to use some of the peel-offs. So I go ahead and kind of work my way around these two areas and add the peel-offs just to kind of finish off those two edges. And that will complete this card. For card 8, I did bring back in the decoupage sheet, as you can see on the top right. Put those pieces together, and then I'm taking some of the ribbon in the kit and just wrapping it around my piece of pattern paper. This pattern paper was really pretty. It has butterflies on it, obviously, but the butterflies are glittery, as you can see in the reflection. So I thought that pink glitter ribbon would be really nice. And then I go ahead and pop the decoupage piece and then my sentiment. And that will complete that card. For card 9, this is one of the sticker sheets that came in the kit, and I cut out 3 circles with some a circle die on some white cardstock that fit these 3 circle stickers perfectly, and I thought, well, this would be cool to kind of layer up on each other, adding some dimension. And then I go ahead and pop these first 2 layers up and then add them to the bigger layer. Kind of in a way creating my own decoupage piece. And then for this card, I did bring in my own white cardstock. There was only 1 sheet of white cardstock in turn, making only 2 cards, but I had a hard time trying to find a use for the other navy piece of cardstock, so I just decided to use the white one. I had a white and gray left, and I end up using, I had a navy blue and gray left, and end up using the navy blue for my final card, and I saved the gray one for another time. So I had these doilies, and these doilies actually are from a previous card kit, and they matched perfectly with this kit. So I add a couple more flowers, I add a button to finish off the card, and of course add these pearls for the center of the flower just to kind of have them more finished looking, and that completes that card. For this final card, again, I brought in another decoupage piece, only a couple of the pieces, not the whole sheet. And I'm taking these 2 pieces of pattern paper and attaching them. I will add some more of these really pretty, I love these mint peel-offs, and I will go ahead and add the peel-offs to the top and bottom of this centerpiece, finishing off the card. This is my favorite thing to do with peel-offs, to kind of finish off pieces, sides of the cardstock. Go ahead and attach this to my card base, and then I will attach the butterfly in the center, and then attach the sentiment, and that will complete this card. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. If you're interested in any of the products, like I said, the kit is sold out, but there may be some add-ons available. Just a reminder, this kit, Lizi is in the UK, so keep that into account. What else? Let me know what your favorite card was, and I guess that's it. I thought I had something else to say, but I can't remember. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Thanks for your support and comments and likes and all that. It is appreciated, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.